3 weeks into learning how to code, I was just starting to feel comfortable. I hesitate to even use that word, but at least a slight amount of familiarity with the process of writing commands into some sort of file and having the computer execute presumably what I wanted it to do. Still, I'm not quite there yet. I'm still holding people's hands and they're teaching me how to do things. I'm not doing something on my own yet. Just for the facts where I was at and what I was doing, for my situation, I was spending about 1 to 2 hours a day learning how to code. I'm talking about last year, by the way, before I took my break and focused on other things, and before I picked it up now, once again, when I am presently learning how to code once more. Last year, I was spending 1 to 2 hours learning how to code each day, about 4 days a week, so 8 hours maximum a week. Not very much, not at all a boot camp. What I was doing was going through Code Academy courses, just simple ones: Python, Intro to Python, Python 1, Python Intermediate, Python Advanced, going through those things, not fully understanding every lesson, but still completing the courses to where I was at least aware. My goal was to become aware of some of the things that happened. I was understanding some general principles, but not specifics yet. I hadn't memorized specifics to where I could use them on my own, I'll say. Not even memorized. I was still pretty bad at reading documentation sites like API docs, for example. Now I am spending a little bit more time each day, so about 4 days a week still. I am spending about 4 hours every day. Still going through a course. It's a different course now, learning how to do something a little more specific. So the course I'm taking is teaching me how to use Revit's API specifically. Again, this video series is for architects. So that's what I'm doing as a goal with this course, is to be able to use Revit's API via writing code in Python to use the program more effectively, more efficiently, more powerfully. So that's my context. Now, last year, by about 3 weeks in, I was becoming familiar with some slightly more advanced concepts, like object-oriented programming. So I was becoming familiar with things like modules, like classes, and like wrappers. These are things that I don't have a great grasp on now, but again, I'm at least aware of them. That's about where I stopped learning to code last year. About 3 weeks in, so I shelved learning how to code, knowing I would come back to it at some point in the future. And that's where I have picked up recently, just a few weeks ago at this point. And I am now reflecting on day 21, right about where I left off last year. That was the facts, that's the context. Now, how did I feel? That's really the focus of these videos, so that you can get an idea of what you might be in for the long haul, learning how to code in just a few short videos. I felt very new to learning how to code. I still do, actually, a little bit further on, just reflecting back to day 21. I still feel that generally, that unfamiliarity with code, like I'm new to it, like I'm still very much an amateur. So that's something to be aware of. If you're anything like me, you'll feel this novice feeling for a while into your journey, even after the novelty dips and you're getting into a groove and the mundanity of it really is starting to sink in. It's like, oh, what is something that I'm good at? I like to run. So when I was first learning how to run, I was slow for one thing, but running with other people on a sport team, on the cross country team, it was fun, even when I was slow, because it was new. I was going on trails I'd never run on before. I was learning things about shoes and clothing. There was novelty to a lot of it. And then a few months in, probably the end of my first season, right about when I was starting track, so in that winter between the two sports, it started to become not new anymore. And I had learned enough about clothes, about diets, about various different products to where I was familiar with it, and running on my own became a bit of a drag. And yet I pushed through it. I knew I was going to join track in the spring. So I kept running through the admittedly mild winter of Western Washington, and I joined the track team in the spring, and I was better for it. Then, by the following year in cross country, and certainly by my third year on the team, I was well versed at running. I was not fast, I wasn't on the varsity team or anything, but I was well versed at it. I had learned quite a bit about form, about which kinds of clothes I liked and which I didn't like, in spite of the articles I'd read. Some articles said glowing reviews about certain pieces of clothing and products, and I just didn't like a lot of those, which is fine. To each their own, as long as it's helping toward the goal. And I use that as an analogy toward this learning to code because I know I'm going through generally the same process of novelty, mundanity, and then expert familiarity, way some point in the future. That's how it goes. There is this, well, dip, as I believe Seth Godin wrote, and that's all right. I'm going to be holding other people's hands for a while now because I'm still an amateur, and I'm fine with that. And I think that's good to be able to acknowledge and not worry about, not feel like it's something that's a poor reflection. We all need teachers. Without teachers, the process of learning something would be unnecessarily painful and long and futile in a lot of ways. So, holding other people's hands is going to be the way that I advise other people to do. It's what I am doing myself. What that looks like more practically, more specifically, is I am, like I said, going through courses that I have purchased. I am reading books and watching YouTube videos. I am trying to meet friends, anybody, finding out if there's anybody in my community who knows how to code so I can talk with them and ask them one off questions. It's those sorts of things. I'm going to be metaphorically holding people's hands for a while, and that is fine. It is good, I would even say. Also, as a specific note, I took a course on Code Academy called Intro to Flask, more than anything else because the website recommended it to me, and I thought, okay, I guess I could take one more course on it. It was a pretty short course, finished it in a few days. I do not feel familiar enough with the module or framework or whatever it is called to make a website using Flask. Again, going back to awareness, I think this is fine. I am now aware that there are frameworks to build websites. Another one I heard about in the process is called Django. So at least now I know those things are out there and I can look into them at appropriate times now. So that's the good thing about awareness. Now, the question I'll keep coming back to is, do I feel comfortable writing my own files, my own code scripts? I don't know if scripts is the right word. Again, I'm an amateur. Please forgive me if I'm saying this wrong. But writing my own code to be executed, am I comfortable doing that? Not without someone else's heavy guidance. At this point, 3 weeks in, I was not ready to do that. And I'm still not, but I'll get to where I am right now in another video. So, what do I feel I can do? Well, I just pretty much hinted at it. I can go through courses and write scripts that other people have already given as examples. I think that's good because then I'll learn some specific things from that. Then I can take pieces from those, go back to those courses or those YouTube videos, whatever it was I learned from, and put those pieces together to create a Frankenstein style code. Admittedly, it'll be ugly. I know. I'm fine with that. To do something that I want generally. Maybe badly, but at some point in the future, I'll be able to write my own code. So right now, I'm gaining the first step of that, which is the awareness and some specific pieces that I will recall when I need to. So, short answer is no, I don't feel comfortable writing my own scripts completely on my own yet, or even just with referring to some documentation for specific methods and functions and classes and things like that. I'm still quite a ways away from that, but I will get there. I can see it coming. There we go. There's my reflection. Kind of a going all over the place, but learning is not cut and dry, especially outside of structured school. So I hope this is helpful for you, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.